Hello and welcome to the Just for Gamers video game podcast. Episode 190, Flapper Pie. In this week's episode, it's time for Pokemon's JfG Ash is getting his beard on. JfG Alex does stuff with knitting. There's a bit of a chat in the news.
Yeah, just a bit.
And finally, check out the Discord channel.
Hello and welcome to the JfG podcast. This is episode 190. My name is Alex and I'm joined as ever by my very good friend Ash. Hey buddy, how you doing this imminently festive time of the year?
Hey buddy, as always, feeling good on a Wednesday. Yeah, sparkling thoughts. Give me the hope to go on. I'd like to know how many times I've said that now, but we'll never know.
I don't know when you started doing it, but I know that from the first time you did it onwards, you always did it. So
I always do it.
It's just a case of pinpointing that initial give you the hope to go on.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
It does. I mean, I can't be fucked personally, but
yeah, someone might. I doubt it though.
I wouldn't have thought so. No, but we'll never know.
Oh dear, how are you, buddy? You all right? You know, feeling good?
Okay. Yeah. I'm all right. I just had a tasty bit of bolognese, buddy. Cheeky bolognese.
Nice.
Just fucking cooked that on a simmer for 3 hours. Pretty rich.
That'll do. Simmered.
Done.
Yeah, Gibbons, buddy.
How about you?
Oh, I had some sort of shitty curry. I ate it within like 3 minutes.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, I was like, this is getting in me as quick as I can. I mean, it could have been quicker. I could have obviously liquidized it and just gone like chug, chug, chug down in one. But
possibly a step too far.
I'd say that's a little bit too far.
Gibbons.
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week, buddy?
Well, I mean, you mentioned earlier how jovial of a time it is, and yeah, it definitely is for me. As first of all, I love Christmas. I'm a massive fan of the Christmas time, Christmas spirit.
That's the best. It is
Christmas
the best.
balls, Christmas things. Other things to do with Christmas. And
just watched the claymation Christmas episode of Community before coming on here.
Oh, lovely. You're
stop motion one.
You're proper in the spirit. And you know what? I am as well, because this week, buddy, I've been editing some Christmas songs. Because, you know, how big companies are like, we need to have team morale and shit. And it's festive times are coming, so... You know, let's get all the different contracts to make or redo a Christmas song by changing the words to do with your whatever it is. Like, so I work in a prison, so we had to make it about prisons and things, or the different departments. Yep. Yeah. So we had "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." I think that's the song.
Yep.
And yeah, I was editing that for about 4 or 5 hours this week. Like you do in your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you have, yeah. Unfortunately, because I was the music technology guy before I made the change over to whatever I am now, some kind of coordinator. They're like, oh, you can do this. So luckily I didn't have to write it. Someone already wrote it, or wrote it even. But I had to endure the 45 minutes of recording the guy from Chaplaincy record the song, and then pretty much tune his voice, which took about 2 hours, which was fun. I mean, first of all, I went straight for the auto-tune plugin. I was like, that'll fucking do. It's in like G sharp. Yeah, bang it on. We'll see how that goes. And it was just like... No.
Like T-Pain.
Oh, yeah, I went to the extremes of, like, T-Pain as well, just to see if it would work, but, like, even the notes he was hitting, they were, like, you know, yeah, like a semitone up or down, so the auto-tune was going the wrong way which was wasn't helping. So yeah, I had to do it note by note.
Normally, religious types tend to be better singers because they've regularly done it in their...
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. It could have been a lot worse. At least his voice sounded nice. You know, when people sing and their voices are just...
his tone.
Like when he had a nice tone. Whereas like if I sing, it's just... My tone's terrible because, you know, I sound like a complete twat with no interest in singing. Obviously,
you sound like it's happening at gunpoint.
Yeah, pretty much, buddy. Yeah, I'm being forced to do this, so I will not put any effort in whatsoever. But you know, if you need me to sound like a evil snake, then I'm your man. Which I've done previously. I have previous for that. You know.
That's one for the CV, certainly.
There you go, yeah. So, yeah, Christmas songs, mate. It turned out really good. I did a cracking job. He came back today and was like, holy shit, this sounds amazing. I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at what I do. There you go.
Gibbons. Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm nearly Christmased out. I kind of need a break for a few weeks now, and then I'll hit it hardcore. Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah, well, of course, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Time of recording, isn't it? And then Black Friday, which is the black hole that sucks Christmas away in favour of greed and fighting in a hilarious YouTube fashion.
Gibbons, it is.
So that can be a little break, and then
that's true. Yeah,
work your way back up.
If only had some money to spend on Black Friday, buddy. That'd be nice.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, ain't happening right now for me. I checked my graphics scheme. Gone. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I mentioned on the pod, but I won that weird competition that I didn't even enter at work before I left.
Yeah.
I got 100 quid's worth of those vouchers.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of like electronic stores, the only place that takes them is Argos.
Oh,
and so I'm kind of relying on good deals at Argos. Except I did a little bit of digging to find out some other stores and stuff, and I spent quite some time going down the list of the various like clothes and department stores that the vouchers are accepted at, and realised that Wilkinson takes them.
Nice.
And Wilkinson sells Amazon gift cards.
Oh, there you go.
And on the back of the voucher, it says, cannot be exchanged for the shop you're in's gift cards. But it doesn't say anything about other third party.
Nice. Loophole.
So it should be good for Friday.
Nice, buddy. That sounds pretty tasty.
Leaked document on Hot UK Deals today, buddy.
Yeah.
Tesco, Black Friday shenanigans. All Xbox One S's, 1 terabyte models going down to $158.99.
That's getting cheap.
That's cheap, and for me, that's $58.99. So
that's cheaper.
Yeah, that's cheapest. Gibbons. So yeah, I'd imagine all of them will follow suit, and I'll probably be fine with Argos. But if not, I can nip into town and switch.
Yeah, and I think Argos should price match some of that stuff. You should be fine with that. Buddy.
Yeah, they're not going to be selling them for £90 more than the competition.
That would be mental if they were.
Gibbons,
really dumb.
Yeah, Black Friday stuff.
Nice,
Sorry
buddy.
to interrupt.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I've been looking at graphics cards and. Because I tried, I've let my graphics card dry out quite a bit. I gave it a good old clean. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it one more go. And unfortunately, buddy, it is totally fucked. It is dead. So yeah, I've been looking at graphics cards going like, oh, they're really nice. They're pretty cheap now. Like 180 quid. Like... There was a 1060 for under 200 quid. I was like, oh, that'll do. I'll live with that. And I was like, oh, I just, I can't buy anything at the moment. I probably won't be able to buy anything for about 6 months, I reckon.
Well, that can happen, buddy.
Yeah, which is a shame, but hey-ho. Luckily, though, JJ put me in for a competition to win. I think it was one of the latest NVIDIA cards last week. Obviously, you heard my cry.
That's
for
fucking
help.
Teamwork right there.
Yeah, buddy. It was like, refer a friend and you might win one. So, fucking fingers crossed, buddy. You know, I'm holding out for it. Put all my eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
Gibbons. So, yeah, apart from that, I've been packing up the house because moving next week, buddy. So... I don't know if I'm going to be on the pod or not.
Well, that's fair, buddy.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I got an idea of what I'm doing next week, but it's just going to be a very fucking busy one.
That don't matter, buddy. You're either on or you're not. Either way, we'll get something out. We always do. So
Gibbons, buddy.
Not to worry.
Also, I have been growing a beard, which has been going for about 4 weeks, pretty much since Red Dead 2 came out, and I was like, Arthur Morgan's got a beard. Maybe I should have one too. So, life imitating art there, I guess, is what I would say.
You've been turned on to the idea. You've been prancing around on your horse, and here we are now, and you like, I want in on that. I want in on that dream.
So yeah, I've got to find some beard tonic somewhere. I don't know where I can buy beard tonic or hair tonic.
yeah, beard tonic. You'd be carrying a little pouch of snake oil.
Yeah,
and some
whiskey, obviously.
Pomade.
Yeah,
pomade.
Pomade. I think I don't know. I've been calling it pomade. I could be wrong, but I mean, I don't really need that because I don't have any or much hair left, and I'd shave that. So I guess I could slick my beard down,
slick your beard and your eyebrows. Incidentally, I was calling it Pom Bear throughout my trip.
He's got some Pom Bear there. Yeah, just put it on your hair.
Redemption. But
nice.
Wasn't it? Well, fair play, buddy.
Gibbons, buddy. And finally, buddy, I've been playing a shit ton of Pokemon Let's Go. So look forward to hearing about that game.
I do. I do look forward to that.
I know you do. I know. Yeah. So there you go, buddy. That's my week in a short 10-minute segment there, I guess.
Lovely.
If you call 10 minutes short about talking about absolute nothing. Awesome.
But it's a tightrope you walk in there, isn't it?
It is really, You've got to make something out of nothing, buddy. You're like, oh shit, I've really got to talk about something for the intro. It's like, yeah, I'm growing a beard. Fuck it.
I think when your section in the notes includes both growing a beard and the information that you might not be on for the pod next week, then you might be clutching at straws somewhat.
A little bit.
But
maybe.
I still enjoyed it, buddy. I lapped it all up.
You're welcome, buddy.
Like a cheeky little retriever or something.
How has your week been?
Yeah, fucking mega busy. No, I'm afraid not.
I'm sure it has.
I've done things.
I've been
around.
Yeah.
Firstly, the missus has been working towards getting herself a new job because her one's not very good. And she has to do a presentation for this interview that she's got. And decided to do it on knitting because it's something that she quite likes to do, but is also kind of rare for someone her age.
Right, nice.
There's lots to talk about there, like lots of history, and also you can do like visual aids and you can like talk people through shit. Like it's a master stroke on her part. But she's been making this PowerPoint and decided that it would be good if she was like, if only I can have a video. And I was like, you can have a fucking video. We can do that. So yeah, I got my old Microsoft like 720p webcam out.
Yeah, you do.
Gaffer taped it to this boom arm stand, so you have like the top down over the table.
The proper high end production here.
Oh, it's beautiful, buddy. We moved the dining room table so it was between the spotlights on the ceiling, so there wasn't any glare.
You don't want the glare
on one area than another. Didn't have any box lights because I just wasn't really prepared. But did what
could have got some torches, I guess.
Could have done, yeah. So yeah, that's something I've been doing this week, shooting knitting videos, buddy. There you go. You didn't expect that.
I just want to tell you, I haven't read what you're doing this week, so I literally didn't know this, and this is fantastic. I love it.
It's good stuff. People are liking that. Moving on to more normal things, more native to my week, buddy. Obviously, I've been down to watch the football at the pub with friend of the podcast, Paul. We went to watch both England games at Cassidy's, Thursday and Sunday. Very much enjoying what Mr. Gareth Southgate or the Vulture from the Jungle Book is doing with the national team at the moment, buddy. Good stuff.
Indeed.
And another thing I've been doing a lot of is researching traditional Manitoban food because My dad used to live in Canada. It's his birthday in a couple of weeks, and we're throwing him a Canada party. He lived there in like 1969, and imagine that was quite fun. But obviously, no clue what he ate out there. So I've been like doing loads of research, and I'm planning this like fucking feast of things that he probably ate out there, or maybe didn't, and certainly hasn't eaten since. I've been working on that.
Is Mike Strong from Canada? Am I wrong there?
I don't know.
I can't remember. So. No, probably not.
Don't think so. I think he's from up north in the States, but not.
That's close enough. That's like, you know, when people say, "Oh, you're from England, you know the Queen," kind of thing, isn't it? That's what we can do.
It's more like you're from England, you know the Prime Minister of France. That's more kind of what you're going for there.
I guess.
It's like when I was staying in a Best Western in the States and told the woman at the desk where I lived, and she asked how long it takes me to drive to Austria. Wasn't that ridiculous a question from her? Because actually it's the similar distance to Vegas, but our country's a lot smaller than that, so she seemed mental. But yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, we're derailing somewhat. Anyway, I'm doing a load of weird Canadian food. One of the things I was looking at was the way that they do like turkey, which is kind of pertinent, buddy. Thanksgiving week.
Is it just dipped in maple syrup?
They do. There was a recipe for that.
Nice.
But I decided that was ludicrous and I'd have no part of it.
I like it.
But yeah, I've been watching this YouTube channel, Great Tastes of Manitoba. Because he lived in Winnipeg. And yeah, it's just these two women who clearly fucking hate each other, just with big grins on their faces, like doing all of this ridiculous cooking. And just like, oh, now we're going to make flapper pie. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Like, this is not that dissimilar from my activity on Pornhub at this point. So it's we're about right. But yeah. So yeah.
Sorry, was it flapper pie?
I think it's called flapper. Yeah, it's some sort of like lemon curd thing, but with more like what's the set hard sugar stuff? Like
what, when you caramelize it? Ice gems?
It's like an ice gem. Yeah, yeah, it's an ice gem cake. Yeah, no. It's a weird dessert. They do stuff over there. I've got to make these chips as well. Chips and gravy is apparently a delicacy in Winnipeg, so sure. Or it was in 1969. I'd rather not tarnish the people of Winnipeg. They may have come on somewhat in the last 40, 50 years. But yeah, anyway, I used a Manitoban recipe to do a roast chicken, where they like slaver all this fucking thyme butter all over the skin. And
that sounds good.
That was fucking great. It's good stuff. So yeah, that's been fun.
Nice.
Other than that, that's pretty much me, buddy. Obviously excited about my possible gift voucher exchange and/or Xbox. That's pretty cool. I'd certainly have a lot of fucking games to talk about over the next few weeks if I pick that up.
That's true.
It comes with 3 months of the Game Pass.
That'll do.
And 3 months of Xbox Gold. So yeah, you just plug and play. You don't need any games or anything, and you've got like 250 things to play immediately.
Get it done. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do.
That's cool. In other news, it was announced that Sleeper would be playing the Forum in my town, which is a cool 90s indie band that loads of people that I know liked, and I certainly did.
Gibbons.
Snapped up some tickets before they sold out, buddy. They were all gone within an hour.
Jesus.
But, so that's February sorted. And it's the pub quiz tomorrow, and this weekend we're going to be playing a lot of Spyro. We're having a bit of a Spyro weekend with...
That's for next week, buddy. Don't be talking about that shit right now.
I like to give people a lead in, so it's like, next time on the JfG podcast.
Got ya. I don't, just keep them guessing. They have no fucking clue what I'm doing.
I like that. Well, it only really remains for me to ask you, buddy, before we move on to the video games, which is actually the topic this week.
Like it.
What exactly are you drinking this evening?
Well, I had one can of 6%. What was the one? Piston Head or whatever it is I had left over. So obviously downed that to get me going. And now, buddy, I'm on the Rhinebacker, just keeping it nice and simple and cheap. How about you, buddy?
4-pack of Stella pints.
Nice.
There you go.
Getting the job done, my friend.
Fucking does. Really does. Well, that was easy. Let's move on and go and talk about what we've been playing.
Woo!
I just sort of burped slightly there, and it was very garlicky. Had some garlic bread, and
oh dear,
absolutely disgusted myself, buddy. But do you want to kick things off? What exactly have you been playing this week?
Well, I'm going to start off with just a brief thing about Destiny 2. I dipped my toe back in this week just for one evening. I was like, it's been a while. I'm just going to load it up, play a bit. And obviously, it's missed me a lot. You know, Destiny 2 is like, oh shit, I haven't seen you haven't been on for a couple of weeks, Ash, you know. How can I get you back into this? And it's like, how about I give you 3 exotic weapons that you haven't had in one night? I'm like, what is this? So, yeah. It was like, here, have an exotic bow. I was like, cool. Then after that, it was like, here, have like the new exotic machine gun that's just come out. I'm like, cool. And then the last one was like some kind of like pulse rifle. I was like, fucking wow. With these treats, you're really spoiling me, Destiny 2. So I feel like it's trying to pull me back in, but I'm holding off, buddy. Holding off for now, you know. So don't worry.
Yeah, do what you want, mate.
Yeah, no, I won't. Don't worry. But yeah, new DLC drops on 4th of December, so look forward to hearing about that. Unlucky.
Cool.
Yeah. So, other games I've been playing, obviously Pokemon, let's go.
So we're at the Pokemon town, are we, buddy? Which version do you have, by the way?
I have Let's Go Eevee. I haven't got Pikachu, buddy, yeah.
There's a forced shortage in Russia because the CEO of Nintendo Russia, who, by the way, this week was collared for swearing and calling everyone retards on a live stream, ordered far more of the Pikachu one because he didn't think anyone would want the Eevee one.
It's true. I didn't want the Eevee one, but my son's like, I want Eevee. I'm like, you know what? That's cool. I'm down with that. I mean, I played with Pikachu, not in that way, back in the day when I had Pokemon Yellow on the Game Boy, you know, and I was like, let's change it up. So yeah, let's have a little breakdown of this game. It is an exact copy of the original Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. By exact, it's completely not the exact copy, obviously, because it's more like a remastered version, let's say. So it's the original 151 Pokemon. You're back to Kanto. Start off in Pallet Town. You get to see Professor Oak. Nostalgia came flooding back over me, buddy. I was like, I'm like, how old was I? I was like, 11. When did it? I think it was like 96 or something came. I must have been 11. Maybe it might have been later. Maybe it was 2000s. I can't remember. Either way.
I think it was 90s.
I'm pretty sure it's in the 90s, late 90s. Maybe 19. I don't know. I'm trying to remember how old I was when I got into it anyway. But anyway,
Red. 1996, 27th of February, 1996.
That's what I said, 96, didn't I? Check me out.
Nailed on, buddy.
Nailed it. Right, so, all kinds of nostalgia came back. It was beautiful. And obviously the main difference is with the power of the Switch, buddy, 3D environment.
Sorry. No, go on. Sure.
Yeah, that was intended as the joke, which is funny. The 3D environments, they've done a very good job of making this game look nice.
It looks lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does look good. It looks really, really nice. And yeah, it's just a lovely environment to be. And, you know, having spent so much time in the past in the shitness of the Game Boy version, obviously, this was a breath of fresh air. And yeah, extremely enjoyable just to be in there. So The main difference from this game to obviously previous ones is the fact that Pokemon are rendered in world. There's no more random encounters. So back in the previous ones, it was a case of you have to walk through tall grass and then you'll come across random Pokemons that will spawn and you will have to fight them and catch them. So you would have to, like I said, fight them, weaken them in whatever way, shape or form, and then when they're weak enough, you'll chuck your Pokeball at them and catch them, hopefully. That was the aim of the game. With this one, it takes the more stance of Pokemon Go, the mobile game, which, at first I was like, that's really shit. But then after about 6 hours playing it, I was like, actually, no, this is good. Because one of the things that I used to hate about the original games was when you're just running through some tall grass, you want to get from point A to B, and you just keep getting bombarded by, like, Rattata or Pidgey or fucking whatever shit Pokemon you've seen a million times.
Always hated about it. Was the same with Final Fantasy as well, like early Zelda. I just never really like these turn-based stuff where it's just completely random and it gets so tedious. But I suppose the other good thing about this is with them rendered in world, it means that you can kind of avoid the fights you don't want and go after the ones you do.
Exactly. And when I first started, like I said, I was like, oh no, this is shit. And then after playing the game, because you have to do so many battles with like random numpties on your way from point A to B that, you're going through the game and doing loads of battles anyway. Like, I mean, it just lessens the blow. And if you want to go on a run of like catching Pokemon, yeah, you can do that. And that's one way of getting like super rare, shiny ones. I don't know what they mean. But yeah, you have to get things like a catch combo. So you have to purposely catch the same Pokemon over and over again to build your combo up. And when that gets to a certain level, bigger, better Pokemon kind of appear. And you can catch them and shit like that. So, I mean, there's new dynamics in the game there, which is kind of cool, which I like. But there's been a lot of hatred. Not hatred, but, kicking up a fuss, let's say, about the whole random encounters in this game. So, battling is exactly the same. It's never changed and probably never will. It's a turn-based, game. You win the match, you get some XP, you level them up. When you catch random Pokemon in the wild, you also... what is nice actually now, your entire team of Pokemon get XP. So there was always an issue that I found with previous versions where you would have to be continuously swapping out your Pokemons to level them up. Whereas here you can just kind of chuck it in and go nuts for it in a way. And they will level up at a reasonable pace, which is kind of cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything major else that is different about this game. The storyline is slightly different from the original, which is kind of cool. There's a bit more emphasis on like Team Rocket as they are now from the cartoons, which is kind of cool. But apart from that, it's just a really, really solid game. If you like Pokemon, that is. Obviously, if you don't, it's complete wank. And why the fuck have you bought a Pokemon game if you don't like Pokemon?
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose as well, and people presumably, I'm not having a go at any adults who like Pokemon, but this is a game that tends to be aimed at children.
Yeah, Gibbons, buddy. I mean, I still would have got it if I didn't have kids, because that's me. But the fact that like my son like really enjoys Pokemon is a massive advantage. And that's another thing. There is drop in, drop out co-op on this. By co-op, it is like the shittiest version of co-op, as in the fact that you don't fucking do anything. But the fact you're there, that makes the difference. So it's a case of like waggling the Joy-Con and then you like teleport in from fucking nowhere from the sky, obviously, like you do. And then, you can just walk around with your buddy, and then in battles there's two of you instead of one. And what happens there, you just use their second Pokemon in the chain. So there's no like progression. that I can get, because it would have been nice if I could have brought my save in and stuff like that and leveled up my characters in his game kind of thing. That would have been really cool. But no, it's literally just I'm a random bird. It's always a woman as well, or a girl, I should say. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, it's cool though. It's been really nice being able to just play the game with my son in a co-op way, I'd say, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and because it's a game that's kind of tends to be aimed at kids, then there's that sort of, so what if it's the same game that was, 20 years ago and they weren't born. So it's kind of, Nintendo have got a sort of ready-made excuse for the fact that it's like exactly the same. Like, they could release exactly the same game again in 20 years, and if it's aimed at kids, then it's fair cop, it seems to be. So, I mean, overall, it's a really good Pokemon game. It's probably the best one that I've ever played, mainly because of the graphical updates to it. Like I said, this is a remaster of the original one, but there is plans to bring out a totally new one next year, I believe. So if you don't really want to go through the original game again, I would hold off, and it'd be interesting to see if they've changed anything. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think a lot of people will be very excited about that game now as well. Now that they've proven what a great job they can do with the original source content.
Yeah, Gibbons, buddy.
Nice.
So there you go, buddy. That's pretty much me for the week. What have you been playing?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Good.
I've been playing several things this week. Firstly, buddy, you'll perhaps remember a couple of weeks ago, I picked up Cities Skylines for $4.99 on Steam.
I do.
And was very much looking forward to playing that, and decided, even though I presumed it would run like ass, that I would buy it anyway, and it does indeed run like ass on my Mac. So that was a bit of an issue. And then I thought, hang on a minute, is that fucking GeForce thing still going? That beta that I was on?
Yeah. The 4K bullshit and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so this is, to refresh everyone's memory or introduce new listeners, this is a beta that I think it popped up on your Appy Gamer thing ages ago, and you sent me a link because it was for Macs only to start off with for some reason. And it's a streaming service, so it's the same as PlayStation Now, for example.
Yeah.
Or I suppose Steam Link, in that it's... Yeah,
sorry, I'm laughing at that because of the news later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good fun, isn't it? Good stuff. So yeah, anyway, if you've got a shit computer, it doesn't matter that your computer is shit, because as long as you've got a good internet connection, then you can stream the game. And GeForce Now is something that NVIDIA has been working on for some time. They've got some beefy server farm somewhere, several different fairly robust infrastructures around the world. And you can stream that shit. My connection allows me to stream 1080 60.
That'll do.
And then once you get into the game itself, you can whack that thing up full beans.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks very, very nice indeed. And City Skylines, a city building game where latency is not especially important, and nor is sort of quick reaction time or dexterity. Kind of the perfect game for GeForce Now. So yeah, I played 2.5 hours of City Skylines on GeForce Now in absolute crystal clear 1080 60. I suffered no drops of any kind at any point. Everything was fluid and perfect all the way through, and had a fucking blast on there, man. Really enjoyed it. It's just fantastic technology, and it works.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the end all of it, really. There, like the fact that you tried running it on your MacBook, and it was just like, no, this doesn't work. And then fucking here we go, the future, buddy. Welcome to the future.
Indeed, buddy. Indeed, yeah. I mean, I was only really being able to. I could run it at like 1024 by like 960 or whatever.
That's not comfortable to watch, though.
scrolling wasn't smooth. With this, like, I outputted it through the TV.
Yeah.
And it just looked gorgeous on this 1080 HD telly that I've got. So yeah, it was fantastic sitting on the sofa with my wireless keyboard and mouse, like planning out a beautiful city.
Nice.
And this thing hooks up to your Steam library, so you can play anything that you own. But there's also a load of demos on there on the GeForce sort of store that you can try out as well. And obviously, as a Mac user, it means that I can install all of my PC-only games from my Steam library, and because this is in a server farm and all the files are just there already, I think it auto-downloads. It brings up the installer if a game isn't installed, because you're essentially installing it to a virtual machine that already has access to it, or via high-speed storage, I would imagine. So you click install and it's installed. Even if it says it's 60 gig, it's just installed.
It's done, yeah. It is awesome.
It's fucking amazing. The only problem that I've had is I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the saving, in that I tried to use Steam Cloud Save because I thought that would be sensible.
Yeah.
And found that didn't really work. Whereas if I save it locally, in inverted commas, then it seems to save it to my bespoke VM. So, local saving just works fine, but the cloud save, it should have saved locally and into the cloud.
Yeah.
That cloud save just doesn't exist, neither in my virtual machine or on my actual Steam account.
Maybe
locally,
that's due to, I don't know what the word is, some sort of licensing or something, because NVIDIA would have to have access to your cloud saves then? Maybe they don't have those kind of permissions or something? I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah, that could be it. Either way, it works one way or the other. It's just something to note if you're going to try this service out. Which I highly recommend that you do. If you've got a shit PC. I mean, this thing will...
Well, I definitely do now, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this thing will run on anything, This will run on you can run this on your phone because it's just a video.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And yeah, what a wonderful game Cities Skylines is. It's everything I wanted SimCity to be but wasn't. And I've been really getting stuck into some of there's just so much quality of life stuff there as well, like really simple things, like just being able to select various different sized paintbrushes for zoning, and you can zone out your residential just by colouring in. Like, it's stuff like that. I mean, this thing's clearly been through a horde of patches. It was in alpha for a while as well.
Yeah.
And it just is so self-explanatory that I turned off the tutorial, even though I'd never played it, and was just able to find everything and do everything that I wanted to. It's fantastic. Just don't spend all of your money on planning out the whole city with giant 6-lane dual carriageways, and to find that you don't have enough money to create any sort of power grid, and then also find out that you can't take any loans out until over 460 people live in your city, which they fucking won't because there's no power.
There's no power. I mean, some people, yeah, I reckon you could get 460 people there without power.
I got up to 200 and it just kept hitting 200 and going back down again, and then coming out, I was like, come on. I can't incentivize them in any way. There's loads of roads.
I was going to say, is it not a case of deleting some roads and getting a bit of cash back? Or?
You can, but you don't get a great deal
back.
It was just my own stupid learning curve kind of thing. But,
wow, this is how we learn, buddy.
Fucking love it. What a great game. And these city builders are fantastic. And I did notice that it's like a roller coaster tycoon a Planet Coaster.
Yeah.
Spiritual successor. That's like £4 on Steam at the moment as well. So might have to get stuck in there, buddy.
Nice. That's cool, buddy. It's a very, very good game from what I remember playing. It's
fantastic.
It back in the day.
It's just having the time and the patience for it, really, because it does feel very, very sluggish. But if you're just chilling out in the evening, it's like
I kind of wish the amount of time that I put into SimCity I would have put into this instead.
Yeah,
which is such a shame because we played that game a lot.
We spent dozens of hours just trying to make that game work properly, in the traffic systems and so on. I also watched some very funny videos of a guy, I think it's called RT Gaming, who does some funny little Let's Play compilations of city skylines, various scenarios. He did a city where the whole city was just one road, like one never-ending road, and he was ridiculous, but he had no traffic problems whatsoever.
Yeah,
but he was like,
tell.
so if this dude wants to get to his house, which is by the freeway but on the other side of the road, he's got to drive. He's like, there's a restaurant on the right hand side of the road there, and he's on the left, so he's got to drive the length of the road, turn around at the end, and come back. He's got to make a reservation for like 2 weeks' time, because that's how long it's going to take him to get over there. And he did one as well where he was just sucking all the water out the ocean and trying to he had a world map for his land masses, and he was just trying to empty the Atlantic into the Pacific. It's fucking cool. It just lets you do all that shit. It's got dams and massive terrain editor, like a huge arsenal of natural disasters and stuff as well.
Very cool.
Really looking forward to getting my teeth into more of it.
Nice, buddy.
For now, we should move on. I have completed a game this week and sort of completed another, buddy.
Oh?
So first game that I've sort of completed, that Burly Men at Sea, which is the PS Plus title for this month. I think it's this month.
Yeah, it was
cross-play one for the Vita. Really charming, like kids' book type thing, which I've been really enjoying playing through. And what I didn't realise at the start was the premise of this is you're three brothers, burly men at sea, and you go to this dock, park up your boat, talk to some dude. He's like, oh, you're going off on adventures. And then you get in your boat and you go on the adventure. And eventually the adventure leads you back to the start. And then you can kind of go around again. But each time, if you make different choices, then you see a different story unfold. I think there's maybe 8 or 9 different sort of story arcs and maybe 30 or 40 different decisions that you can make along the way. All of them giving you completely new content, new dialogue, and
cool.
also some different trophies as well.
Guys,
so, yeah,
vaguely reminds me of The Cave a little bit, where you have your 8 or 9 characters you can pick from the start, and depending on which ones you take, you take a completely different path through the labyrinth, which is The Cave. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite a cool. Like, I'm not a fan of these sort of roguelikes and stuff, but this is just a little story basically. But it's like, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed at the campfire rather than escaping out of the spout. I wonder what would happen if I'd lost this race with death and that sort of thing. This is a really funny game, by the way. The script's excellent and it's beautifully animated, wonderful music. As I said, still that problem where your only real interaction is a cursor scrolling, and it's not smooth scrolling as smooth as I would like it.
Yeah, that could be better.
But you get used to it, and it's really worth playing through. It's just a funny little thing. I really enjoy it. There's nothing else to say about it, really. It's just a really nice little game. And it's the sort of thing that you'd never touch if it hadn't been on PlayStation Plus, which I think is kind of the point of that service, really.
Gibbons.
So the one that I completed, as in Burly Men at Sea, I think I've got 2 or 3 different endings left to do, whereas this is done and dusted. I've nailed this thing. Is in VR Town. I've played quite a lot of VR this week, several bits of racing and a little bit of shooting and stuff, mostly games that I've spoken about before. But one I wanted to revisit was a game called Static, which is a K on the end rather than a C. And it's a puzzle game. I spoke about it a while ago, quite a while ago. The last time I played it was March, so quite a while ago.
Yeah.
This is a first-person sort of POV perspective, and you... there's a whole story surrounding it of this scientist doing tests on you. You're clearly like there against your will, restrained. At the end of every test, he pushes a button which injects like a thimble of something into your arm, and then you black out and you wake up, and then there's the next test or whatever. So it's kind of dark, but it's really, really well written, and all of the puzzles involve you trying to get a box off of your hands. So you're holding the controller naturally anyway, and the puzzle is a box that covers your hands. You can turn it in real time, tracks the controller, so you can kind of look all around the box, kind of similar to those like bomb defusal early VR games.
Yeah,
this is
they
far
seem
more
pretty
in
cool.
depth.
Okay.
And every single button on the controller does something else, but none of it is labelled. So you have to sort of, the first thing you do, you know, I usually push the D-pad whilst rotating the box all around, trying to work out exactly what that's doing.
Yeah.
Until you can work out exactly what all of your button inputs are doing. And then there's a series of different puzzles, really clever puzzles, some of them really taxing, a couple of times where I was so annoyed that I nearly looked it up, and then when I discovered what it was and worked it out, I was fucking ecstatic, absolutely delighted. Just really clever stuff, you know. It really branched out. At the start, it was all to do with, you know, how do I open this lock? Okay, I need to put this digit, this code in or whatever. And then it became kind of more stuff around the world. So, for example, there'll be 6 different colors on a keypad, and it's like, well, what do I do with these? How do I do anything here? You need to put the right combination in to open up a little lock, which then allows you to move something else and play a tape, which tells you some instructions. And the colours, it turned out, were on the puzzle that you had a little torch on the end of it, which you could activate with X. And if you used that torch all around the room that you were in, there were these yellow post-its, which when you shone the light on them, they changed to different secondary colours. And they were in an order from left to right in the room. One of them was on the kettle, one of them was on the fridge. And going left to right through the puzzle, through the colours, was how you opened up the thing. And
Spoilers.
there's a load of stuff like that. It's loads and loads of these puzzles where when you work it out, you're like, that. I think that was actually really obscure.
Yeah.
I think I just got lucky there. But that's the sign of how brilliant these puzzles are.
No, that sounds really fucking cool. Like in some place, like you could sit in VR and be like, okay, right, puzzle time. I'm a big fan of puzzles. I like my puzzles.
Yeah, man. You totally forget that you're in VR, that you're in a game, because it's just so utterly convincing when you're in the moment trying to work out what's going on. All your brain power's diverted to working out these puzzles, and you're literally going, like, I'm shaking my controller and it's shaking the box, and I'm just forgetting that I'm holding a controller and that I'm in VR at all. There's so much clever world building. One of the boxes where you end up being able to drive a little RC car. There was another puzzle where you've got like a screen and a satellite dish, and it's all about kind of putting the box in certain positions to pick up radio signals.
Okay.
It's very, very clever. Very, very cool. This script all the way through, very dry. This English scientist seems a bit evil, and the puzzles are kind of interspersed with these yes or no segments where you've got sort of, if you click the left stick it's happy, if you click the right stick it's sad, and he'll take you through a sort of blot test where he'll ask you various questions and you have to respond however you want. It makes no difference, but it's all very engaging and yeah, just really cool. I think it'd be a great one to start people out on who hadn't really experienced VR before, because it's very immersive, but there's also no danger of motion sickness.
Yeah, I was going to say, because
problems
it's
associated
pretty
there.
much static, I'm guessing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
As in the name.
As in the name.
So
yeah,
good one.
It's fucking great, that thing. If you own a VR headset, you should own this game. It's mega cheap right now as well. You know, we're talking like sub £10. And there's a solid chunk of content there. I think there's at least sort of 20 odd puzzles, all of which will take obviously different amounts of time depending on who you are. There were some that I think were supposed to be tricky that my weird brain just kind of worked out instantly. There were a couple of early ones where I was fucking stuck for 20 minutes just staring at my hands. So yeah, it'd probably be a pretty good one to play with friends as well. Like if you got like a few people in the room and you're all kind of working on it together, maybe taking it in turns.
Yeah, nice. That sounds cool.
It's cool. It's good. The other thing, nothing much to say about this other than it popped up on the store this week. It's called Crow the Legend, and it's an animated short film that's been designed to be VR. So it's essentially like a YouTube video 360, but it's a little bit more involved than that in that the whole thing's kind of been curated with you in mind. And there's quite a fucking voice cast here as well. The Crow's played by John Legend. Oprah's in this for some reason. It took me about 20 minutes to go through. It's a fun little thing, but it's definitely a kid's film. And does beg the question to me, PlayStation VR is supposed to be 12 and up, and I keep playing these things like that Barcelona thing last week or the week before. They're definitely designed for like 9-10-year-olds, and they're not supposed to even have the thing on their head, so it's a bit of a weird
safety, buddy.
Yeah, it's a strange one for me, but it was nice enough. I don't really like John Legend, but he was fine in this, and it was basically it's the story, the indigenous Native American story of the Crow that had to save the world that had been iced up by flying to the stars. It's quite a famous story over there, I think, and obviously coinciding with Thanksgiving was kind of pertinent this week, so I think that's why it popped onto the store. But if you've got VR, absolutely worth going through. You don't do anything. It said motion controller compatible. You just use it to click go, and then you just sit there and watch the thing happen around you. But it was nice. I enjoyed it.
That's always good, buddy, if you've enjoyed it.
Gibbons, crucial, you might say.
I would say
that's
so.
Me. That's me. Hopefully I'll have lots to talk about next week, if things go to plan with my vouchers. Because I certainly can't afford to pick anything up unless I use the vouchers.
Gibbons, buddy.
But there we go. For now, unless you've got anything else, buddy, we should probably move on.
Cool.
And now it's time for the news. Number one, as I open up this
That's
beer.
a good idea. I mean, mine's already open, but I will pour
and
it.
then discuss addiction. That's what we're gonna do now.
I'll do that with you. What is this? Sounds
number
good.
One, this is a story that came out today. I don't really have very much prepared on it, so I've just popped the article open on the BBC website. It's not strictly to do with video games, but there's a video game component here. So this is the Gambling Commission. We last discussed the Gambling Commission when various nations were looking at loot boxes and whether they were considered gambling by the various laws and regulations of our country and several EU nations.
Just a quick news favourite thing this week, yeah. Pokemon Jewels has been banned in the Netherlands for fucking loot boxes as well now, buddy. Add that to the list.
Fucking good.
Just fucking sneaking it in there. Give a fuck.
Thumbing it.
Yeah.
Cunts. So yeah, here we are. The Gambling Commission study into the number of children classed as having a gambling problem. Now, I would class any children who are gambling to have a gambling problem.
I understand
don't
that's
think
an
there's
issue.
Such a thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's a very black and white approach that probably doesn't help anyone very much when you're looking into a study. But I would argue that any children between the ages of 11 and 16, which is what this is covering, that are betting at all have a gambling problem, because children shouldn't be betting at all. They don't tend to have their own money even.
No, they don't have any money.
No. So, yeah. In the last, these are UK statistics, but here we are. The number of children classed as having a gambling problem has quadrupled in the last 2 years to more than 50,000 people in the UK.
Fuck's sake.
The Gambling Commission study suggests that 450,000 children aged 11 to 16 bet regularly, more than those who have taken drugs, smoked, or drunk alcohol.
Thanks, video games.
So obviously this isn't just video games,
Obviously.
but I think we would strongly argue that they are heavily involved.
Yes.
There was a whole mixture of different things here. Bets with friends, I thought that was a bit of a weird one. Slot machines, scratch cards, lots of reports of kids walking into betting shops and happily just betting away without anyone stopping them or regulating
fucking
it.
well funny though. Just like fucking. I think I've been in one betting shop in my life. I mean, I've never been a person for betting anyway. I like my odds of keeping my money and not gambling it on chance or an educated guess or a tip or whatever. I think I just don't really understand gambling that much
and perhaps don't want to
there.
either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look at the betting shops of the 90s when we were growing up, man. They're just fucking horrible places. Like there was no reason to go anywhere near the front door of those places. But yeah, here's some stats. Over the past 12 months, 39% of 11 to 16-year-olds have spent their own money on gambling.
Cool.
And 14% that week, the week they were asked about this. Okay. Young people who have gambled in the past week spent an average of £16. 6% had gambled online using a parent or guardian's account. 60% of young people think their parents would prefer them not to gamble. However, only 19% said their parents actually stopped them.
That's just good parenting, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't really understand what's going on here, but basically, yeah. The analysis also suggests 1 in 7 boys followed betting brands on social media. So, I mean, this is a ubiquitous thing, and I've often wondered, like you, I have no interest at all in gambling or betting on football or anything really. I don't really need that to make the thing interesting to me, but I've always wondered, like, how many people are actually betting? Like, every time you watch a football match, you see literally 30 fucking betting adverts. Often the fucking clock is sponsored by a betting company.
Yeah.
Like, it's constant. It's everywhere. And I guess it must be that everyone's doing. I mean, when I go to the pub now to watch the football, if I look around, there are people constantly with like the Bet365 app open,
it's
or the
like
William Hill.
when I'm at work
app
talking
open.
about the footballs and stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I put an accumulator on this week, and I'm betting about this, I'm betting about that." I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know. I haven't got that mindset.
No,
I can't.
I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with it.
No,
If you're an adult,
there's nothing wrong with gambling as long as you know what you're doing and yeah, you know what you're fucking doing. Whereas
exactly.
kids
And
don't
you're not a
have
child.
a fucking clue on what they're doing because they're kids.
And this is where it came around as well. And this was apps kind of bookended the report. The commission also raised concerns that close to 1 million young people had been exposed to gambling through loot boxes in video games or on smartphone apps. These can involve a player paying money for an item that is only revealed after purchasing. So the BBC's just waded in there. They're like, no, this is fucking gambling. We don't care what anyone says. And credit to them in that respect. And the commission...
You're gone. Sorry.
No.
I was going to say, I totally appreciate what they're saying, and they're absolutely right. But I mean, I feel like I'm starting to defend games industries a little bit here, but I don't know. I'm going to say it anyway. But like the whole way that they phrased it is, you know, like the playing cards, like the Panini football books, the sticker packs, and the Pokemon cards. You're paying for something that you don't know what you're getting. And that's how, obviously, game companies are getting away with this anyway. But, like, focusing it just on mobile apps and games, like, there's still a fucking million other things that kids are gambling on in that sense, you know, out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why the report only really mentions that at the end. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. It's interesting anyway. It's interesting that games were mentioned at all. They needn't have been. But I do think it's probably a pretty prominent way that kids are spending their money. And
yes,
I suppose we just see if any legislation actually does finally come in here. I know this is happening all over the globe now. You've got it's just crazy. Like, I find it kind of upsetting. As someone who really loves video games, and it's probably because I'm getting older, and this probably happens to everyone who gets older. They start feeling disenfranchised with things they liked when they were younger. But I'm looking at... We're in the heart of golden release time right now, and it really hasn't fucking felt like it this year to me. And that's because there's so many less things coming out that I actually give a fuck about. And the reason is, I think the model that games are being made to is much worse. I think that
I think you're right there. I think
the AAA games, it's just like, no, I don't want these games. I don't want these games with loot boxes and stuff. And it's past the point where I'm young and excitable and want to play like everything. It's got to the point now where I'm like, just fuck off. I don't need that in my life.
I'd say it's not just the loot box franchise. It's the whole online aspect of every single game has to have some sort of online thing. And say like 10 years ago when it was really kicking off the online thing, I was like, if a game came out that didn't have online, I'd be like, why the fuck hasn't this got online, kind of thing, because that's what it was then. But now it's I don't know if it's done like a full 360 or 180 or whatever you want to say, to where I've changed my views on that. But I feel like a lot of the games that are just like online based are, well, one, they aren't designed for me because I'm old and I don't understand what the fuck's going on and why people get their jollies out of whatever game they're playing. But it's just, I don't know. It feels like a lot of these games are using that as an excuse to not develop their games in a way that's meaningful for players. It's just, you can do this with people. Go out and do it, kind of thing. Obviously, I'm mainly talking about the new Fallout 76 here, with the lack of content and shit that's in that game that has deferred me, or that's not the word. Put me off buying that game. Now
certainly, yeah. There's a lack of everything there. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel the same way about a lot of stuff. I feel the same way about Destiny. Yeah. To be honest, I feel the same way about the Division.
And these games don't need to have this like repetitive like thing to pull you back in, like for the loot or whatever you need. There should be enough game there just to enjoy.
Absolutely. And I look back at the games that I've enjoyed the most this year, and it's all story based stuff. Really,
it's all like,
I just don't feel.
I would say
God of War.
Like, I miss a fantastic co-op campaign. Like I just want a story mission like Vegas 2 or whatever. That's like 12 hours, maybe more. I don't know. Yeah. Depends how long how much time you spend in it, and then smash that through with your buddies. That's just fun. But then I don't need to keep going back to that game. Obviously, they want us to go back to that game and spend money in there and invest time into it. It's business. That's what they do. But I feel like the fact that these games are getting bigger and bigger and have more like hooks to try and drag you in means that there's just less games to buy.
That's how I feel, and I really strongly feel that way. I feel like it's happening to me very, very quickly indeed. But it's just like, at what point did my reasons for playing video games change from they're fun to I want to get this thing? I want to get this trophy. I want to get this gun. Yeah. I need to put this time in so that I become this level, because that's all fallacy, isn't it? And
yeah,
I remember playing the very first Half-Life and being so excited for like 8 months before that game arrived, and then playing through it and being completely blown away. And there was no replay value, there was no incentives, there were no achievements. It was a fucking game, and I loved it. And I just feel like we really are losing that. And as you've said before, and you're absolutely right about this, you need to look for those experiences somewhere else now. The considered like B grade level of financed developers and the indie developers lower down. Like this week I've stopped playing My Club on PES because I was like, why am I doing this?
Why am I doing that?
I don't understand why I'm doing this. I've switched to Master League. It's a completely offline mode. There's no microtransactions. You just build a football team and play through a season.
But
That's
you
what
get to
games are.
spin your balls.
Yeah, I know, and I'm an idiot. And I think
No, mate, I don't, but that's the thing. Like,
if I can be pretty self-aware about it and still get sucked down this fucking rabbit hole, then I think
there's still some sort of excitement there, though, with like the whole like, oh, I get to spin the ball kind of thing. It is.
Know, what's it for?
To get a better team, buddy. You know what?
Why would I want to get a better team through random chance rather than making?
I know
signings,
instead of building. I don't know.
We could do a
know.
whole show about this.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You know, obviously need to stop, but it's just the more I've been thinking recently, and all these games have come out, and the ones that I'm actually genuinely interested in tend to be single player. I mean,
yeah. Just quickly going back to like the whole loot box shit that we're kind of talking about at the moment. Like, I was kind of, I think there was like news about Overwatch this week, whatever it was. There's always stuff going on about Overwatch, and I was thinking about, you know, the loot box fiasco and how, you know, they looked at Overwatch as one of the main culprits of this. And, you know, when we got Overwatch and I started playing it, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. That's fine. You know, like every time I level up, I get something. I get something. It's random, and I get it. I'm like, that's kind of cool. It's got a little bit of chance in there. It could be like, because that feeling when you get like a ultra epic fucking whatever, that's really cool. But then obviously, you know, you can buy them, which is the bad point. Like, if you couldn't buy them, then I don't think I'd have an issue with that, because it's just cosmetic stuff. It's nothing to do with the game. Whereas, you know, obviously with PES, you're getting a better player. It's going to make it's changing the game completely. Like, if they just had these random loot boxes as something that you can't buy, you just earn through playing the game, you know, and they were just like little things, trinkets or whatever, I don't give a shit.
Like, ooh, a treat kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, because one, that would keep me being like, oh, I'm nearly there to get another one. I will play a bit more, and that's fine. But
why do you need an incentive to play?
No, I don't. But it's nice.
I'm playing devil's advocate too.
I know you are. But I'm just saying, like, if they just simplified it in a way where it didn't give a shit about anything, it was just this, and you couldn't buy it. It was just like, yeah, it's there. Go for it.
I think that would, yeah.
I'll be fine with that.
A little lucky dip reward for completing a level or whatever. Yeah, sure. But you get the impression the only reason that the cosmetics are there are to sell.
Yes, of course they are.
And
that's why they're there.
Used to have them in, and this is why EA are clinging on to loot boxes, because they're selling
so
shit
much
that
money.
Used to be in the game.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't make any effort. You got dudes fucking moving like color wheel shaders along on armor and selling each one for 89 cents or whatever. But that inherent needing incentive to keep playing, I think that is something maybe we'll discuss another time, but I really feel that is at the root of all of the problems. If the game isn't fun on its own, with no incentive to go again, then it's maybe not a very good game. Like, because it's supposed to be a game, it's kind of in the name. Yeah. Like, I shouldn't need a reason to play another game of PES on the off chance that I get something. The game is playing the game.
Yeah, and that's it. That I would say I wouldn't be saying, like what I said earlier, I've only got a little bit of XP to get this or whatever. Like, I think if the game was just, it wasn't great, I would hope that I wouldn't just be playing that game for whatever reason to just get that.
But do you think that, I mean, there's no way you'd keep running Destiny levels if you weren't getting loot at the end of it? Like, how much do you think that's true, or do you think you would keep playing it? Like,
that's a really good question, actually.
And if the only reason that you're running the same level is to get loot at the end, then isn't that worrying?
Getting that number up.
That's we should leave it here and maybe think on it for a spell.
No, that's it. I don't know. I mean,
you can tell I'm having some sort of either crisis or epiphany.
Yeah,
this week
it's
when
good
I've been thinking
though.
about-
It's really good because just thinking about that, it's like, well, I don't know, because like I've got to a stage where I've had everything in the game bar like fucking super random chance stuff that I don't really care about, like from Eververse. Whereas I'd hit max level and I was doing whatever, but then I think at that stage I just started the raid, so that's what kept me going on that. I was doing a new activity that I was learning and, you know, trying to get that through that faster, I think. But
I think the raid is the saving grace in Destiny as well.
Yeah, I think
it's almost like a different game, isn't it?
Yeah, and
cool.
still I haven't had a chance to get through that, the new one, which I'm looking forward to at some point. I will get it done, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a fucking really good question. Would I still be doing that if like the numbers and stuff weren't going up, or if there wasn't anything to chase? I don't know.
Because I suspect the answer is no.
But then again, it depends what else is out there to play. Obviously, there's fucking loads to play. But you know, what do I feel comfortable sitting down with playing? Like you said, instead of playing My Club, you went and played a different version of the same game. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm playing Master League.
Yeah,
and it's a career mode. It's a simulation of real life football. You don't spin for players. You raise money by winning games, and then you sign players like you would in real life to some degree. But
the gameplay is still the same. You get what I'm trying to go with this. Yeah, it's still the same game, but it's just you're not playing that. Yeah.
So switching to a mode with no incentive to keep playing other than to keep playing very much will show whether that is a good game or not.
Yeah, definitely.
Because if I get sick of that after 10 hours and never play it again, then it's not a very good game, is it?
No.
And that's because and you wouldn't necessarily say that about a story game. You'd get through the story and that'd be done and dusted. And I would say I felt that I got my money's worth out of Destiny 2, and I played it a percent as long as you did.
Definitely.
So, you know, maybe if you played that game for 20 hours, you'd be more than happy with that.
Exactly. Like I said earlier about the whole, you know, a co-op campaign. Like Destiny 2 had that, and that's how you played that game.
Yeah.
Job done.
So yeah,
fucking where did we go with that?
Well, if anyone's got anything to say about all of that, then I'd love to hear from you, because I just find it very interesting. But that's where I am right now. That's where I think the issue is, and loot boxes make up an integral part of that. But I'm not in danger of pissing money away on loot boxes. So
no, exactly.
It doesn't really affect me. But the way that the game is designed around that mechanic, that's what affects me. And I'm worried that there's not enough games being made anymore that people just want to play because they're fun. And as you say, it's organizations that they want you to keep coming back, and they're kind of putting pretend reasons, which if you really think about it, maybe they aren't reasons at all. But yeah, we'll move on. We really should. To
blown.
This number 2. Sony has announced that it won't be at E3 next year. They made a statement to Game Informer last week, which read, PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment, which is basically 3 different ways of saying the same thing, with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 in 2019. We will, however, be exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019, and can't wait to share our plans.
It was kind of going that way with the old Sony PlayStation experience and stuff like that. Like they had already had, you know, their own conferences and shows and what have you throughout the year, and I think the fact that E3 has kind of been on the decline the past few years, or
and someone had to jump first.
One of the big ones anyway. I mean, was it EA did it?
Yeah, EA were the first publisher to sort of clear that. I mean, Nintendo... this was obviously immediately set upon by the other companies because you would. It's good PR for you. It's free. So Phil motherfucking Spencer straight in there like a fucking winner, quickly confirming Microsoft would be at E3 2019, citing it as the high point of the year.
Because it fucking is.
Meanwhile, Reggie Fils-Aimé at Nintendo US confirmed Nintendo Direct would also be there, although I would argue it isn't there at all.
It's not
describing
really there,
it as an outstanding opportunity. They both stuck the boot in straight away. But the reality of it is, as I said, Nintendo aren't there. They just do a little video that goes live on the day. So why would you? Why would you be there if you can have your own event somewhere else, make it more interesting, make the staging more interesting? And the writing's on the wall for some of the publishers as well. You know, Ubisoft's one was very underwhelming this year. I mean, I'd be interesting to see what Bethesda are at. Like, where are they in next June? Where are Bethesda?
It's just going to be Doom.
Rent out the Chinese theater and
Doom's out.
You know, Todd Howard fucking joking about how buggy their games are probably isn't going to fly quite so well this next time round as it did this time.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, they've jumped ship. They'll probably do their own thing. Whether they'll do their own thing around the same time as E3, I don't know. But E3's days are unfortunately numbered, and it's been such an exciting thing. Like for my basically since the internet began, I've lapped up all that E3 coverage since they live streamed all the events.
And
the
even
number of years where I've stayed up till 3 a.m.
Yeah, before the whole live streaming and stuff, like when it was just like, you'd get your gaming magazine and they'd just be like, sweet, I know this month is going to be jam packed full of shit because it's E3.
Exactly.
You know, it's that time of the year when you just get ultra super pumped there. It's been a while.
Super Bowl.
I'm going to have to remember where that is to put the effect in it. I shouldn't have done that. It's not my style these days. Like, I get the podcast edited in like 15 minutes now, so I'm just like,
that's how we do, buddy.
Chuck it up.
It's more fucking... It's just...
Slapdash.
A simple conversation. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, E3's fucking ace. It's going to be a shame when it goes.
Yeah, and it will go, and we will miss it, but it's just the nature of things, isn't it, unfortunately? Yeah. And obviously with games all being live services now, buddy, releases aren't quite so sort of mic dropping in their excitement.
It's true. You know,
we got the new DLC pack for Season 5 of Siege or whatever. It's like...
Brilliant.
Fuck off. Anyway, moving on. To a rumour, a very strong rumour that's inevitably probably going to be true, but I can't say 100%. There will be 2 new models of the current gen Xbox arriving in 2019. One of them will be a revised Xbox One S, perhaps a super slim one.
Super slim.
Not sure exactly what that's going to be. The other one is going to be a super cheap version with no disk drive.
I love it.
Is set to be retailing around the $150 mark.
Damn, son.
So that's very cheap.
That sounds good.
Although, if things go well on Black Friday, then you can pick one up for that price on Friday.
Gibbons.
But either way, that's very cheap. The next gen Xbox, which is codenamed Scarlet, is said to be launching in 2020, and Microsoft haven't decided whether it'll have a disk drive or not. But I promise you it fucking will.
What if it launched without a disk drive, obviously at a cheaper price, but you could, like, you remember like the HD DVD drive you could plug into the 360 or something like that? If that was like, you could buy the add-on with the disc for an extra like $50 or something.
Well, I mean, do third-party disc drives work with the Xbox at the moment? I presume they don't. But
probably not.
Yeah. I think that they will keep a disc drive on the next gen consoles because
we're not there
of
yet.
That internet problem.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
We're there yet.
Me and you are, because we're cutting edge, tip top.
Yeah, I mean the way I see it, if you got a solid 25 meg connection, then you're fine. The problem is, you look to the States as a good example of bandwidth issues. That GeForce Now, by the way, those sessions, I recorded my activity there because I wanted to see. And my 2 hours of City Skylines streaming used 24 gigabytes of download.
Wow.
Which is quite a lot. That's 12 gig an hour.
That's intense. Yeah.
That's
and if you got data caps and stuff, that's not then great.
It's game over. Yeah. Exactly.
You are fucked.
So yeah, for that reason alone, the disk drive will still be there. I'm sure it will. But yeah, I certainly don't need a disk drive anymore. I've no intention of buying anything. Although, obviously, if I do pick up an Xbox and you haven't got one, then there's a good chance that I will buy some secondhand software, depending on how I do on the old Game Pass thing. But yeah, going forwards, we don't need a disk drive at all. But I think that overwhelmingly, you look around the world at the standards of internet, perhaps not there yet. Not quite there.
Not there yet.
Not everywhere. Anyway, that's interesting.
But going back to it, would you buy... What would you think of one with, a plug-in hard drive? Do you reckon that would be a good way to solve the issue?
I don't think they'd bother making an external Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, it would look really shit.
I think it's a good way to solve the problem, but I think that...
or just have two versions of it, one with and one without. I mean, it can't be that hard to make two fucking versions of it. I think that would be a really good move, to be honest. It's a cheaper console. But then there was the whole rumours of the cheaper console being less powerful and using the cloud as the fucking powerhouse, or you could buy the souped up version with all the G's in it. Yeah. So
it's interesting.
I think this next generation of consoles, because it is going to be next gen, the ones that come out, it's going to be interesting to see where Sony and Microsoft take it and where they push it to, really, I think so, because I think that I think probably if they do a conventional major generational step, then it really could be the last time that they do have a conventional console with graphical prowess in the box. Yeah,
because I think that the streaming is getting there to the point where I think you go forward 5 years and it's probably there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. These are exciting times, although as the games get worse and worse, who gives a fuck whether you can run them or not, apparently. And
that's true, buddy.
They look so nice, but there's no reason to play them other than
let's get them numbers
boots. Up. Gibbons. Moving on. Very briefly, Smite is arriving on Switch on the 24th of January. We'll have crossplay and cross-progression as well, if you want to play that.
Great.
BBs. Next, Star Citizen has cleared $200 million in crowdfunding over 7 years after the project began. The game is currently in an Alpha 3.0 state. It releases a big update every sort of 3 months or so. Cloud Imperium Games CEO Chris Roberts was recently talking about the alleged road to release, which I found very funny, by the way.
Nice, well played.
For a game that they started building in 2011. At the game's own conference, CitizenCon 2948, which perhaps is the release year, I'm not sure. So he described this game in this conference as a live service. Firstly, no fucking shit, mate. You've been making it for 7 years.
It's been 7 years, and you're crowdfunding it still.
The average backer of Star Citizen has spent $94 on this game at the time of typing.
Right. Spread that over 7 years. That's a great investment.
Well, it is if there's anything to actually do. If you
keep playing that game, yeah, there is that. I mean, you think 7 years of football games, buddy? That's, I don't know, a good few £100.
There's a marketplace on the Star Citizen game. There's a microtransaction marketplace, despite the fact that the game is in alpha and has been for 7 years. And they will sell you concept ships.
Things that aren't out yet that will be released in the future.
They aren't out.
I love it. Yes.
You can buy them.
It's like the Devolver Digital one. It's like...
yeah, except real.
Yeah, that's cool.
And there's some ships that you can buy that are finished, but they're from a certain part of the game that hasn't been finished or released yet, as well.
I love it.
That game, by the way, and obviously this is an absolute fucking nonsense, this game, because this is like they've stumbled across the greatest money-making scheme of all time.
Yeah, of course they have.
What there is of that game, if you YouTube Star Citizen, looks unbelievable. Like, absolutely amazing. It fucking should, by the way. It's I'm pretty sure that's 3 or 4 times the budget of GTA 5 that they've spent so far.
Yeah.
But it looks incredible. But it's obviously just never going to come out, is it? It's just never coming out. This guy's just cleaning up. Road to release. Fucking pull the other one. Jesus. Anyway, there you go.
I just love it. It's like Alpha 3.0. It's like, yeah, fuck it. And then it'll be like Beta. And then whatever the one after that is. Gamma. I don't know.
I mean, yeah. It's not quite the longest a game has been in alpha, but purchasable. I think that was what was the armor mod? The zombie apocalypse armor mod. I can't even remember the name of it before.
Daisy.
Yeah, there you go, Daisy.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure that was in that was in alpha for 8 years. So there's still some catching up to do. But fucking hell, really. 200 million in crowdfunding and going strong and counting. Good stuff. Fair enough.
I love it.
Next, Fortnite is using dance moves from popular culture and selling them as emotes, premium emotes. And some of the creators of the dance moves aren't very happy about this. A couple of stories came out this week, specifically rapper 2 Milli's signature dance, the Millie Rock, is now in Fortnite as a premium emote.
I'm well known for busting that out.
Well known. It's now in Fortnite as a premium emote called Swipe It. And 2 Milli was not very happy about that. Meanwhile, Donald Face On, who is Turk from Scrubs, sort of semi-joked about being ripped off at a Scrubs reunion event at the Vulture Film Festival this week. His dance, which is called Poison, is also being sold in Fortnite. And during the reunion, Scrubs creator Bill Lawrence revealed that Epic had contacted him to make sure it was okay to use it, which he said it was.
Yeah,
just
it's fine.
Character dancing.
It's fine.
So a lot of people are saying you can't copyright dance moves, but I'm pretty sure you can. There is a legal precedent. And there was a case in the States several years ago of the owner of a dance school who'd choreographed lots of dances that the school kind of treated almost like their anthem, but in dance form. And the school went to court and claimed the rights for these dances. So there's legal precedent, but it's never been done. And obviously Epic are kind of aware of that at the moment, and they're kind of tiptoeing about, kind of piking stuff here and there. But I think that this is going to turn into something. There's going to come a point where everyone's suddenly...
As soon as one person wins, that is the floodgates open, buddy, isn't it? It's just a case of it's all going to go crashing down. But I feel like they're going to be all right because they've made an insane amount of money on that, probably through, kids.
Yeah, kids. It's in and out. I mean, if you had come up with a dance, I mean, the one from Scrubs. Well, as soon as Bill Lawrence gave his blessing to Epic, like he said, they actually took the Turk video. They did mocapping off of the Turk video. Like it's exactly the same. They took it from the episode, and that's kind of weird to me. Like that everyone's okay with that, and obviously this 2 Milli guy, he's not happy with that at all. So yeah, I mean, who gives a fuck anyway? Like fuck everyone, but at the same time,
yeah, buddy.
There you go. We'll move on. A few more bits from me, buddy. Spyro outsold both Pokemons. They were 4th and 6th in the charts. Fallout 76, which was 3rd in the chart, and Hitman 2, which was 10th in the chart. In this week's physical sales charts. It debuted at number 1, Spyro. Obviously, this is not digital. This is physical. So it doesn't give us much insight into the digital market. But it looks a lot like IO made a bit of a mistake launching Hitman the same week as Fallout and Pokemon and Spyro.
Not a good idea.
No, I mean, no matter what Fallout does, it was always going to sell relatively well, you would have expected. So
with the name of Fallout, yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, good news for Spyro. Obviously, the price point's different on Spyro. I think it's $34.99 on disc.
Fuck Spyro.
You're not keen?
Who cares?
He doesn't care. Yeah, I'm not too fussed either, but either way, it's number one in the charts. Yeah. So, Spyro and Pokemon received overwhelmingly favourable reviews. Hitman, moderately favourable reviews. There's lots of people saying that game's great, but very much more of the same.
But Spyro's a really fucking old game. It
looks beautiful, though, man. Have you seen that remake? It's gorgeous. It looks really nice.
Don't you dare defend a remaster to me.
It's a remake and it looks beautiful. It looks how you remember Banjo-Kazooie looking. That's kind of where we're at with it.
I'm still not happy with it.
I'll let you know next week because I'll have played it over the weekend. But you can choose to not believe me as well after that, buddy, just to keep the hate alive.
It makes me sad.
Well, to be brutally honest, this week in the charts, you got Spyro top remake, Red Dead second, fair
Obviously,
enough.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 third, which is just Fallout 4, but shit and broken. And then 2 of the top 10 are Pokemon remakes, the same game, being sold like in different packages.
Yeah, on a
Hitman's getting a load of shit because it's the same as the last one with just different levels. Like, this is what I'm talking about, man.
This is bullshit.
Anyway, moving on to Fallout. Bethesda's released
the whole
its first
thing
big
is
patch.
bullshit. Like, how you explained it, it's just all bullshit. It's like,
Here we are. Yeah. Like, and let's go out to the cinema. What should we go and see? Fucking... It's all
Let's
remakes.
see another Marvel film. Let's go see some more fucking superheroes.
It's all fucked. It's all fucked. Speaking of things that are fucked, Bethesda has released its first big patch for Fallout 76, and it is 47 gigabytes in size. The game's only 50.
Yeah.
The game is 53
it had like a day
after
one patch
patching.
of something stupid, didn't it?
Yeah, it's if you've got bandwidth limitations, then don't bother. But also just don't bother in general by the sounds of things.
So I literally cut you off on that second point that you just made. It becomes 53 gigs after patching, you said?
Yeah, so the game, the install size of the game is 50 gigs.
Right, yeah.
The patch is 47 gigs, and when you've patched the game, the overall size is 53 gigs. So I think they've been busy. I think they might have changed quite a lot.
There was a few issues, I believe.
Just a few issues.
Yeah.
It's currently sitting on a Metacritic score of 49%.
Finally.
Critics cited an overwhelming number of bugs, some of them game-breaking, constant server issues, and a disconnect kicks you out and doesn't save your recent progress, a complete lack of anything compelling to do, no NPCs to speak of. The entire quest line revolves around speaking to computer terminals or listening to audio logs. I've seen some amazing videos this week. One of my favourite things that I've seen is there was a game-breaking bug in Fallout 4 where if you did a certain number of things, then you could break the main quest line because switches no longer worked and you couldn't open doors. That was never fixed in Fallout 4. Eventually, a user, as is so often the case with Bethesda games, a user fixed it. A user patch came out, fixed the problem. Fallout 76 has launched. That Fallout 4 bug is in Fallout 76. And you can't use the dude's patch because it was for the Fallout 4 game files. So that
Brilliant.
Fallout 4, which they must have been working on for several years and came out 2 years ago. It's a bug that is known to them, has been since launch of Fallout 4, and is in the new game.
But this is what they do. They don't fix issues that are out there. I mean, just look back at when Skyrim launched on the Switch. I mean, fucking well played to them getting it working on the Switch. I mean, I can't believe how they did that.
Amazing.
But like, it had all of the same issues as like the 360 version when that launched. I mean,
the PS3 version of Skyrim was never fixed. It ran at about 25 frames a second.
Awful.
It was dog shit.
I did not enjoy playing that game.
See, a lot of people go on about how this is this fucking old engine that's the problem, but I don't really see much difference between Bethesda's use of a proprietary engine and everyone else's. The difference is everyone else seems to update theirs. You know, people use different iterations of the same game engine for many, many years. Rockstar have been using the same engine for years and years and years.
Yeah, I feel that needs updating now.
They do masses of work on that game engine each time. And also, that game engine isn't thrust into an online setting when it's always been a single-player setting. Because that's crazy. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Either way, I don't know. I feel like if you follow the industry at all, if you listen to this podcast, you probably have heard about the shambles that is Fallout 76. I really liked the idea of the game, but what will happen now is Bethesda will come out and they'll say that they're working really hard on it, and in 6 months' time there'll be another big patch that comes out, and it'll be a fucking live service, and they're patching. We got all these events. You know, it's
and that's the end of that. That is this game. At the end of the day, this is their attempt at a live service game.
Yes,
that's what this is.
Yeah, and
with its like public events and everything kicking off on so many hours and whatever, this is their attempt at that. And they've like
launched it and it's fucked. And now they'll spend 3-4 years fixing it, cleaning up throughout. That's what's going on. I think this is possibly it's too bad, this game. I'm not sure they will recover on this occasion. And you know, so what? but yeah,
I think finally it's nice to see people sticking the boot into Bethesda. You know, not to say that all of their games have been like this, but their big, RPG games are continuously like this, and people have stood by them through the years and said that's okay. It's such a big game. There's going to be bugs in it, but then games like Red Dead Redemption 2 come out, and there's a few issues in there, but nothing on that I know of. That compared to some of the ones from like Skyrim and Fallout.
No, it's massively polished, and the more and more Bethesda releases games that are fucking broken, the more you think that they just don't fucking care. That's the impression. That's the impression that I get when Todd Howard stands up on a fucking expo stage in his leather jacket and essentially takes the piss out of us because their games are broken and laughs about it.
And then they laugh about the fact that they're going to bring out
Fallout 4 comes out, and
Skyrim or whatever.
It's the same as the other games, but more broken. And now this has come out, and it's completely broken. Fuck those guys, man. Like, I don't understand that. And again, like, just they got away with it to the nth degree because of how solid and compelling their narratives were. And now they've released a game where the narrative is not masking the issues, and they're found out. They're properly found out, and I'm pleased because I think they're a great studio that have done amazing things in the past. But they obviously clearly need to heavily invest in development, and if releasing a AAA title just in the lead up to Christmas that gets less than 5 out of 10 doesn't do it, nothing fucking will. So
yeah,
there we are.
We shall see.
Gibbons. Finally from me, buddy. Just weeks after Valve releases a new Steam Link patch allowing various new features, including streaming to multiple devices simultaneously, an announcement comes saying that Steam Link will be discontinued. The company's been working on an app version of the service, meaning scrapping the hardware is the obvious choice, I suppose. And again, this is another example of what I was talking about with GeForce Now, PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
This is where things are headed. Why would you not just stream games from an infrastructure that can handle the graphical prowess of it, and then you don't need to sell expensive hardware to the consumer?
We reported on that app quite a while ago, didn't we? I can't remember.
We did.
Some TV or something had it integrated into it, or it was in development from. Now, obviously, the difference between this and the GeForce Now is, this is running off your computer on your network. So latency will be, well, if it's all plugged in through Ethernet, will be minimized. And
yes.
It won't matter about your online connection, obviously, unless you're playing an online fucking game.
Yes.
And that's just, a connection that you would deal with whilst on your PC. But yeah, this will be on a home network. And yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. If they don't need to have a, standalone box like the Steam Link for this to run, if they have got an app that you can load up on your tablet or your TV or whatever, and you can play your PC through that, then that's fine. That's cool. Why not?
Yeah, and the sort of connectivity that smart TVs are having, the integration, the ability to install apps like from Play Store and that sort of thing at this point. The tellies are kind of getting there now. As everyone switches to 4K, you're in a position where you've got a marketplace, you've got a selection of obvious choices, and you're not in this situation where TVs are coming with this, bespoke firmware that isn't compatible with anything else.
Exactly,
So,
and yeah, in any way, shape, or form, it's just going to make it a hell of a lot easier to play your PC games on your big fucking TV in your living room or wherever you have it. Yeah, it's fine.
Fact. So yeah, that's my mammoth news section, buddy. I think it's probably time to hand over to you for my favourite section, and I'm sure the listeners as well, and that of course is Ash's News Favourite Things of the Week.
If you like news but hate information, you have found the right place. Ash's News Favourite Thing of the Week.
Cheers, buddy. Well, I don't think my news section is going to be as lengthy as yours, mainly because
Probably best.
we kind of debated a lot there. Not debated, but we discussed a hell of a lot. It was really good, actually. Enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
Here you go. Here's some news. Dreams, that game where you mould stuff out of nothing or whatever that game is.
Yep.
I still don't know. Apparently the beta is still coming in 2018.
Oh shit, okay.
There you go.
Because presumably there has to be VR integration in that, doesn't there, on PlayStation?
Yeah, I think there was whole talks of it using VR and stuff. It's probably
and the motion controllers.
Down to that. They're saying that they've got a stream this Wednesday, today, the 28th. Oh no, sorry, next Wednesday, the 28th. Why would you say this Wednesday when it's Wednesday today? Anyway. So next Wednesday they're having a stream at 5 PM GMT, probably on Twitch. Who cares? If you want to watch it, you can, but probably won't. Yeah, how they're going to discuss shit about the game.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll probably have more news. Not next week, the week after. We might have some next week. Who knows? But yeah, Dreams. That's a game.
Apparently so.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this during the Fallout 76 bashering.
Crucifixion.
Yeah. Some guys managed to crash the servers by launching 3 nukes at one time. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes. That's the game letting you do something which breaks it.
Yeah, so their whole point was you launch a nuke and then it spawns a big boss where you get super rare, ultra mega loot from. So they're like, well, what happens if we do 3 of them? Maybe there's an even bigger, badder boss. And no, it just kills the game. Just makes it dead.
That's one of the end bosses is just a dragon from Skyrim reskinned.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
it's just the fucking
That's
same.
ace.
It's just a dragon. It's got all the same movements and everything for the Skyrim dragons.
Beautiful. I love that.
Recycle those assets, eh?
I know what we haven't talked a lot about this week, and that's loot boxes, buddy.
Go on, buddy.
Ubisoft here doing a classic. obviously, Ubisoft, they're going to be bringing out Trials Rising in February this year. I'm looking forward to it. £20 for another Trials game. I'll probably buy that. Why not? Yeah, that's going to have loot boxes. And bit of a quote here. It's a good one. It's you can always just buy them, you know, if you want. Yeah. So I'm trying to find the actual bit. Not a good start, as you can imagine. You can always just not buy them. Oh, not buy them, but then... Oh, well, there you go. Is that what he said in the first? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's what he's saying. Not always just buy them, sorry. You can always just not buy them. That was the quote.
I will not buy them, but what an incredible thing to say. I mean, sure. You know... This is the danger, is the fatigue. You're just like, yeah, you just throw your hands up at every story and it gets to the point where nothing's surprising anymore.
I mean, I'm not contradicting myself now, but previously I was saying, yeah, I'll unlock stuff with a random loot box. That's cool. Fine, I'm happy with that. That's a little treat for me. I think that was the phrase that we put it down to.
Yeah.
But, why not just have it as a progression thing? Hit rank 5, this is what you get at number 5. This is what you get at 10. This is what, like old games used to be.
Or giving you the option to spend currency on things you want.
Whoa. Maybe.
Whoa!
No.
Like having unlocks in the game and you can look at them, decide which one you want to buy with your in-game credits and buy it.
There is that.
I don't know. Well. It's fucking harebrained, but
I don't know if I can get on board with that.
It's tricky.
That just sounds baffling to me.
New wave shit. Yeah.
Oh, finally, buddy. So not a lot for me this week. Sticking with Ubisoft here. I'm going to talk about Assassin's Creed here. The 11-year-old franchise Assassin's Creed now has its own line of wine.
Oh, thank fuck for that. God, at last.
It's available today and features bottles based on characters in the series.
Well, I know where I'm heading after we finish recording, buddy. I need to pick me up some of that Assassin's Creed wine.
Yeah.
Nice.
The strange thing about this, it's coming from the winemaker Lot 18, which actually do make some really good wines.
Oh, well, brand deal. It's a bit classier than Cheetos or Doritos or whatever, isn't it? So
yeah, I'm just going to go on their website and see if I can buy it. Oh, it's a gift set. Oh, $192 for a full case of 12 wines.
That's not too bad.
108 for a half case. Let's see what they're called. No, I've broken it. Okay, for that I get one Bayek of Siwa, the Spanish, whatever he is. There's an Ezio Auditore Super Tuscan Red Blend.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, Connor Horse Heaven Hills Cabernet Sauvignon. Fucking yes, mate. Here we go.
Good stuff.
I know what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, that's going on all our Christmas lists. Ezio wine.
If you want to you can just buy the 2015 Ezio Auditore Red Blend for $20 if you want.
Well, I might just do that.
The description. It's a Super Tuscan that's as charming and charismatic as Ezio.
Cool.
Fucking sold, son.
Yep.
I mean, oh dear.
In the bank.
There you go, mate. So there you go. There's my news favourite things of the week. I feel like I smashed it on that last one.
I liked it. I was pleased that it was a little bit light as well, because after whatever the fuck I was doing. So thanks very much for that, buddy. That was your news. Before that was my news. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the news. And now it's time for Out This Week.
Let's take a look at some games coming out this week. Probably filled with microtransactions, the crazy pay-to-win mechanics. Because fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Buy our shit.
That's out this week, yes. What wank have we got this week, buddy?
I do need to just check, because I was wondering if we might get some Games for Gold news.
Hello.
Before we went live. It doesn't look like it.
I think there's always next week. It was, yes.
Yeah, we're a little bit early.
Yeah,
but they've fooled me before.
Cunts.
Games with Gold, December 2018. Predictions. Okay, we're fine. In that case, buddy, there are 3 games out this week. They are Darksiders 3 on the PS4, Xbox One and PC, which is a hack and slash game. I couldn't really get into that second one that we got for free.
Oh yeah, that was on PS Plus, wasn't it?
free.
Yeah, got that for free with our subscription.
We've got Katamari Damacy Reroll, which is coming to the Switch. I couldn't begin to describe what that is. It's
a Katamari game.
It looks, yeah.
Isn't it? Where you roll around as a big ball and pick up shit?
Yeah. It looked like a third person. It looked like you were playing a tabletop game, except as a cat from third person, and you were very small. I don't really know. But either way, that's how this week. And more interestingly, Valve's releasing Artifact this week, which is the Dota card game, which I didn't know anything about until quite recently.
Remember they announced it and everyone was just like, what the fuck? Kind of like they did with Dota. Not Dota, with Diablo.
With Diablo Immortal.
Yeah. Because everyone was expecting something big and it was like a Dota card game.
It does ring a bell now, actually, yeah. Apparently
it was a while
it plays
ago.
a lot like Dota. It's got like the 3 lanes that you can focus on, which sounds quite cool to me. But
that's one step above Elder Scrolls card game of the 2 lanes, which I was impressed with. But, you know, those 2 lanes, it was on a boat at the time.
This game isn't
And then
free,
a storm hit.
I noticed.
And it went crazy.
Yeah.
Good times.
I never played that Elder Scrolls thing.
Yeah. Was it Legends? Elder Scrolls Legends?
Sure. Yeah.
I think. There you go.
It was certainly generic. That sounds about right. Yeah, this isn't free, this Artifact game.
Cool. Has it got microtransactions?
Well, that's the thing. Surely it's just going to be like, you know, microtransaction.
Buy a pack of cards, yeah.
Yeah. So, I suppose... I don't know. Either way, those 3 things are coming out this week.
Cool.
Golden release bullshit. Every week we end the show with questions and comments sent in by you. If you've got anything for us, just pop an email to the jfgpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or at justforgamers.co.uk. And now it's time for JfG Street Beat.
You got a question we want to know. Beat. Facebook, Twitter, we're on them all. So hit us up and be on the show. Beat. The JfG Street Beat.
Street Beat.
We want to know.
Get on the do
It's fast becoming just competition town, Street Beat, but we did have a little mini chat about monitors and projectors on the old JfG
I liked
Discord.
it. I popped in there. I was like, whoa. Discussions happening.
It's all kicking off, and
What's
you
this?
You can jump in on that. Anyone, buddy, who wants to, just fire up our website, the jfgpodcast.co.uk, and you'll find a link straight to our Discord, which you can join. And
if the link still works, I don't know. I haven't tried it for a while.
probably you find with the JfG podcast on Discord. Anyway, you can find us. And yeah, one of the founding members of the community there, or old Mike, who's picked up a projector in the Black Friday deals, which I'm pretty jealous about. JJ's picked up a new display as well. And obviously you've been kind of looking at displays for some time. I haven't seen any mega deals. The only thing I have noticed, and JJ noticed this as well, was how much the OLEDs had shaved off them this week.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen that. That's
basically
still
the best and most expensive TVs, and
yeah.
Huge savings on them, like 500, 600 £600 savings on some
big
of these
monies.
Yeah, I mean they're still like $2,000, but if you're in the market, then you're winning. But is that still your plan to pick up like a sort of 26-inch monitor rather than picking up a television, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna. Obviously, my circumstances are changing. Moving into the new house, the whole idea is having a whole game room / office, but mainly game room. I think that's how I phrased it in the Discord. And yeah, in that small environment, having a fucking like 40, 50, 60-inch TV is not a good idea because it will just kill me. So yeah, I think like I'm using, I think it's like a 21 and a half inch monitor at the moment. I have been for quite a while now, to be honest, to do a lot of my gaming. Probably nearly a year or so, I'd say I've been doing that more than using the TV. Well, it was pretty much when my fucking TV died. I think that's when I made the changeover, and that was quite a while ago. And yeah, I've got accustomed to sitting there with my headphones on and stuff like that. So yeah, I think like a 27-inch monitor. Now, obviously, I'm looking to like kind of future-proof that. So I would prefer to get like a 4K one. I've seen a nice LG one. It dropped down about 6 months ago down to about 350 quid. I was like, that's not too bad. It's got some sort of HDR in it. Obviously, it's not going to be fucking amazing because it's 350 quid, but I was like, fuck it. That'll probably do for now. But 4K monitors, I haven't really seen any reductions in the Black Friday market, to be honest. There's a shit ton of 1080p monitors going for like 100 quid at the moment that are really nice. And I'm like, should I just buy a fucking 1080p monitor right now and just ride that out? Because, you know, we've had that whole thing of like, I haven't really got anything that runs 4K and probably won't do for, you know, a next... Well, rumors have it that the PS5 is like, there was a whole fucking Reddit leak from some dude that predicted the E3 that Sony were pulling out of E3 this year. Like, he had a post about it, and later in that post, he was talking about the PS5 being, it's going to be a fucking super mega horse, and it's going to run 4K at 60 frames per second. I'm like, well, that sounds cool, but I mean, and that's coming out like 2020, I think or 2019, 2020, I think that's what he was saying. Or I think he was saying like announced 2019, release March, that was it, between March and November 2020. I think that's what
it's
he was saying.
looking like that for both of them. It's looking
I think so. It's going to be that classic like standoff,
go proper head to head,
which is good. I'm looking forward to it. So is it a case of, I mean, that's not that far away. Do I like? I mean, obviously, if I had the money, I'd buy one now, but I don't. So for me, I think it's a case of holding off, like I said, probably like 6 months' time, when I do finally get my finances back, then, I think I'll really step in and look at the, you know, large 27-inch, possibly 32-inch monitor. I feel like 32 is too big for a monitor, but I don't know, 4K monitor then. And then by then, hopefully, the HDR would have caught up as well. With 4K.
I think I'm with you. It feels, it doesn't really feel like there's any reason for me to upgrade right now. And
this is the thing, we've been saying this for like about 2 years or so now. Or maybe not 2 years, but a good year at least, about like, you know, in the discussion of like 4K gaming consoles with like the Xbox One X and stuff coming out and the PS4 Pro being able to do it. It's like, it's great being able to hit those resolutions, but if the frame rate isn't there, then I don't want to play at those resolutions, you know.
Yeah, and it's like a half step as well, isn't it? With the whole, you know, the you know, third party games, they're not going to make massive efforts to optimize those. Whereas, you know, we're talking about the new consoles. If we were to jump into those at launch, which, you know, we predictably have done that in the past,
I feel like I will because I'll be gagging for one by then.
Yeah, but that's 2 years away to the month.
I know, which is crazy.
So-
I mean, it's good news for me because I'm going to get another 2 years out of my PS4 Pro, so that makes me feel better about that fucking purchase.
Totally. And how much is like a 46-inch 4K telly with HDR going to be in 18 months' time?
Exactly, and how much
can only
better...
be another £100 cheaper, and
Yeah.
probably better on the energy saving and
Yeah,
brighter on
and
the picture
that, like,
everything.
you're going to be able to find cheaper TVs with better HDR then. It is what it is. We'll see. I mean, but obviously if I had the fucking money, I'd buy one right now. Obviously. I'd be stupid not to.
In terms of tellies, that that Tesco leak, there's an LG on there that's going down to £260, like a 49-inch 4K telly with HDR.
So that's it.
Going
Like, if
sub
I needed a
£300.
new TV, then fucking yeah, I'd buy it. But at the end of the day, I don't need a new TV, and yeah, because of situations, I'm forced to hold off on buying one at the moment.
Gibbons.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, it'll still be interesting, and Mike was saying he'd let us know what it was like with the projector as well. So,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Like, I remember back in the day, I played, I think it was like 360, very early 360. I think it was like when Fight Night Round 3 came out. I had a game night at one of my like uni mates' parents' houses, and he had like this whole like game room basement with like massive pool table, big leather sofas, and then this just massive projector. I don't think it was HD back then, but I just remember being there and just being like in awe of just the size of it. It was fucking amazing, and yeah, it's a dream. It would be fucking cool to have that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely let us know how you get on with that, Mike. That'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much. So finally this week, buddy, it's the end of one of our Gleam.io competitions and the start of a new one. So we've got the winner of the PC game Little Nightmares. Congratulations to Mohammed Midu, or Midao, not sure. But you have won and will be receiving an email from me shortly with your Steam key. And thanks very much to JJ for providing that.
Gibbons.
And our next competition, which is running, is it live now?
Yeah,
buddy?
yeah, it's live now. I think it went live on Monday. I think I did it.
Sweet. That's Zombie Night Terror, which is like a zombie version of Lemmings. I was having a little look at some gameplay of that earlier, and it looked quite fun, to be honest. So, yeah, it's like a Lemmings game, but where you're controlling the zombies and trying to eat everyone, which is quite
Sounds
interesting.
good.
Still
Yeah.
proper Lemmingy with the little bar at the bottom and different sort of
Yeah.
stoppers and blockers and builders and stuff. But
That's a good game.
so if you want to pick that up, buddies, then you can jump in, and all the details are on our website, which is thejfgpodcast.co.uk. So I think that'll about do us, buddy, for episode 190. It's the first time for a very long time where I've had to check to make sure that my recording hasn't stopped at 2 hours 04, because it used to do that quite regularly.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a fucking lengthy one. It's been really good fun, though. I must say, this has been an energetic, action-packed, full-forced podcast this week. And, if you made it to the end, like, hats off, buddies. Thanks for sticking with us. Seriously. It's fucking awesome.
The code word for proving that you were here till the end is alpaca. So if you want to send us the word alpaca next week, then we'll know that you made it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been cool, buddy.
What do we have to? Do they get a loot box for that? They get to open a special loot box redeemed through our Discord channel, and you could win a variety of prizes through said loot box. Are we doing that?
They get to buy the idea of a loot box that may be designed in the future, buddy.
I mean, everyone else is doing it, but I feel like we should get on board.
It's just getting stuck in. Fuck it, eh? That's how it's done. What are we going to play now, buddy?
I don't know. We'll see. Have you got your Need for Speed Platinum? Because I got mine. Did you?
No,
get
I haven't.
yours? Well, we'll do that then.
Yeah, okay, we'll go and do that. Sweet, sounds
There you
good. Oh, I proper need a piss, so let's wrap this up
Me
right
too.
this second. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. I will be back next week. Ash may or may not be, but something will go out anyway, so don't you worry, little cotton hells, about it. It's going to be fine. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Until next time, buddies, I have been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. You've been listening to the JfG podcast with Ash and me, Alex. You can find us at www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, where you'll also find our Discord and Streetbeat if you want to get involved with the show. Our Facebook is /the JfG podcast, and our Twitter handle is @the JfG podcast. We're on all those video streaming sites too, buddies, from TubeTube to twitch.tv /the JfG podcast to mixer.com, aka beam.fucking-pro. We've got a PS4 community you can join, just search the JfG podcast on there, and we're also on Google Plus if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time.